locker room cancer, tweeting, "Ask any one of my teammates of who I was as a teammate and a man and a person. Yes, I'm cancer to a place that's okay with losing because I want to win that bad." You're absolutely correct. And another fan called out Odell for going on the boat trip to Miami before a playoff game, and Odell responded, "And we lost by 20 points. Halftime Hail Mary. Packers on the road. There's no victim role. I had a terrible game. Not many opportunities to do anything well. I'm a man. I don't need to hide." How many playoff games have you had? Okay, Shannon, what do you make of all this?
Skip, I don't have a problem with Odell defending himself. But on social media, Skip, you like, don't do it, guys, don't do it. But I would tell Odell like this, and like most, I would advise any athlete, you got to treat it like, and pardon the analogy, Skip, like a bank robbery. You got to get in, get out. One or two tweets might have been good. He probably went 42 too many because he ended up with 44. Once you go in and say, you know, look, I'm looking for a fresh start. The Giants moved in a different direction.
Yep.
I'm happy here in Cleveland.
Yep.
Fine. Okay, you want to defend yourself against the Giants games. All you had to do was say, look, we lost by 20 points. They had a Hail Mary at the end of the game, Pack on the road.
Half, right?
Pack,
half,
yeah, excuse me, Pack a Hail Mary at the end of the half. That's a tough place to play in Lambeau in January. Leave it at that. Don't say I didn't have many opportunities because now you're making excuses. You say you don't want to hide. You're making excuses talking about the opportunities that you didn't have. Well, you said you had 7 and you dropped 3 or 4 of those. So you had enough opportunities. Skip, the problem that I have is that Odell doesn't want to accept any responsibility for his not being with the Giants anymore. You see, what happened is that Odell planted this seed and the Giants allowed it to cultivate and grow. Because Odell just didn't get like this overnight. There were instances, and they constantly let it get out of control. I don't have a problem whatsoever, Skip. Again, I said it. The problem that I have with Dave Gettleman, okay, you made a decision. You chose to move on from Odell. Leave it alone. It's like he's needling him, Skip. It's like, because at the end of the day, you know what you know what's going to be on his resume. He's the GM that traded Odell Beckham. Skip, we look at Branch Rickey. Yes, they won World Series, but what is he most known for? He is the guy that did what, Skip? He signed Jackie Robinson. So what's going to be on Dave Gettleman's resume is he's the guy that traded a 25-year-old Odell Beckham. Let it go. Skip, this is disrespectful. You're going to talk about, oh, the reporter asked him, do you have a cultural problem? Not anymore. Really? We know he's not talking about Olivier Vernon, who they also traded, Skip. We know he's not talking about Landon Collins, who they allowed to leave via free agency. Why are you doing this? That's things that some players do, be petty like that. You don't expect an exec from a team to be petty like Dave Gettleman. He just keeps it going. He keeps it going. Let it go. You've made a decision. The Giants seem to be comfortable with their decision. I can assure you Cleveland currently is happy with Odell. Why are we still talking about that? You need to worry about, you're talking about chemistry. Your chemistry is good. What about that scientist that's in the backfield, you know, the quarterback? So, Skip, I don't have no problem. But Odell needs to understand, you bear some responsibility in this. But Dave Gettleman needs to let this go, Skip.
I don't know where to start with this. I just dug out from under 44 straight tweets. I psychoanalyzed all this. And Odell mentioned twice in here, this is like a therapy session. So I'm going to psychoanalyze Odell. I'm going to put him on our couch today because he deserves to be there, because I think he wanted to be there, because I think he's having all kinds of issues getting pushed out of the Big Apple that he loved and embraced, that he thought he owned, and he thought he had that lifetime long-term deal with them. And as he said, quote unquote, money can't buy happiness. And now he's a Brown. And I don't think he's comfortable with the whole concept of being, he kept referring to out there in Cleveland. Out there, like it's in the middle of nowhere, out there somewhere in the middle of the country. Like, how do you get there? He's even asking one of his followers, is there any good place to eat out there? Like, do you have restaurants out there? Do you have covered wagons out there? That's how it
It would definitely help, Skip, if you started mentioning Cleveland by name.
By name.
Is there any great places to eat in Cleveland?
Okay, I got to mention Dave Gettleman by name because I'm going to defend him to what you said. And by the way, I just realized this morning, Do you realize he worked for your franchise when you won the Super Bowl with the Denver Broncos in 1997? Dave Gettleman was a scout for your Broncos. He participated in that. So again,
no, I did not know that.
Well, I'm sure he went to that Super Bowl with your club. You know, like he was on their dime, right?
Yes.
I'm sure he was there, but you didn't know he was there. I'm positive. I looked it up because he has now made, Dave Gettleman, 9 trips to Super Bowls as part of an organization. I'm not saying he was the reason they got there, but he was Bills, Broncos, Giants, 2 Super Bowls, and then Panthers. So he's been to a whole bunch, and he has 3 rings. Again, did he win the 3? No, he didn't win them, but he participated maybe at the lowest little level as a scout or a personnel director, but he did participate. 9 trips with 3 rings. That's even beyond Shannon Sharpe. That's almost like Brady-esque.
No, I'm undefeated.
Okay. So when he said that we had a culture problem, not anymore, he did. But it all revolved around one guy. And I think we did agree on this. It's hard to win with Odell as the eye of your storm because he's a solo act. He went over the edge into IG superstar, and it's like, I got to live up. I got to do something. I know all the cameras are on me. I'm going to put on the best show in the pregame, and then during the game when I'm on the sideline, I got to be the center of attention. I got to do something. I got to do something in the kicking net. I got to make faces. I got to throw my helmet. I got to do something because they're waiting for me to be a star even when I'm not on the field. And we know all the things that he was involved in, one thing after another, from Josh Norman to the kicking net, to I'm going to pee to mark my territory after I score a touchdown, blah, blah, blah. We could go on and on and on. And it's just hard to win in pro football that way because you know this, and I've told you this in all my years of covering all the sports. The one that requires the most team unity is your sport.
Yes.
It just does. I can't explain it, but the locker room has to come together with a united purpose. And sometimes there's some like gimmick that happens where there's Gatorade bass or something that happens that draws the team all together, some spark at the middle of the year. One year you had the Romanowski incident, the Monday Night Football, the spitting on J.J. Stokes, and it somehow... It just broke all the ice in the locker room, and you united as a football team around that incident. You came together, and you got on a roll, and the rest is Super Bowl history.
Skip, I think the reason why it requires the most because we're the only sport that doesn't play offense and defense. Basketball, you play offense and defense. Baseball, you play offense and defense.
That is true.
So you're so dependent on the other side, you're really helpless. I do my job, we score. Now we're counting on the defense to hold the opposing team from getting a game-winning or a game-tying touchdown.
Okay. So I'm defending Dave Gettleman because the day the trade went down, I didn't have any problem with it. Again, it was really a good trade for both teams because the Giants needed to clear the decks. Even last year, Odell did the Lil Wayne interview. Again, Lil Wayne showed up not even knowing Odell was going to be there. But Odell got warmed up and sort of emboldened by my man, Wayne from New Orleans. We're both from New Orleans, sitting right beside me. And he went off about he'd love to play in L.A. You know, it's just one thing after another where he's just alienating Giants management. And I didn't even mention the Paris hotel incident, and that was just before they gave him his long-term deal. Way to go.
JD, I saw that look. That was a cosmetic error, Skip.